Hmm. Kaku Ranger. Kaku Ranger. Look like the Alien Rangers to me. Welcome back to Gazbot in Japan. This is the newest installment. This should be day 9, but it's sort of day 8 and 9. The last video was day 7 and 8, and the days are kind of blending together for a few reasons. One, because I was aiming for doing about a half hour per these videos, and it was working out that way. And the other is, it's been, at this point, close to a year since I was there. I'm catching up on these videos late, and I'm combining it from multiple sources. I may have mentioned this before. I had a camcorder, like an old-fashioned, hold this. Then I had my phone, and then I had Q's phone, and then we have pictures and videos. So trying to assemble it all in a linear timeline is time-consuming, but also at times a little bit confusing because of the way we jumped around and did things. The first week or so, I actually was keeping notes. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a journal, but just sort of like, did this today, saw a funny guy on the train, blah, blah, blah. And that was invaluable when I was putting the videos together, both in terms of reminding myself of an anecdote I might want to tell, or an interesting cultural thing that I noticed, but also in terms of assembling the footage. So if you are planning a trip somewhere, to Japan or elsewhere, I would advise keeping notes. You don't have to be writing down your thoughts and feelings every day, all day, but just like a few lines of what you did that day would really help, and I wish I had continued that. The other thing is, when I was making the videos, some of them I'm like, hey, it's day so-and-so and I'm here, but I wasn't super consistent about that either. So what we're going to look at today is sort of the end of the Kyoto trip, which last time we left the ryokan, the Gyon, and I was in a more of a fancy hotel, which is where we're going to start with. And then we have some adventures there, and I think last time I had said that Q and I went back to that mall that I gone to, which we did, but I had like 2 or 3 pictures. I actually have a bunch more pictures of that, so it was more well documented than I realized, so that's why it's sort of a little bit of day 8. Anyway, enough about me here in the US. Let's talk about Gazbot in Japan. Over to you, Japanese. Japanese? Anyway, here he is. Me. Go. We got to our new hotel, and it already seemed super posh. And then they gave us an upgrade to a better room just for whatever. It's gigantic by American standards. It's bizarrely nice. And the bellhop brought our bags in, showed us it was like the most deluxe fancy treatment we've gotten yet. And it's not the most we paid either. It's maybe Kyoto is just like more tourist centric. Also, everyone here seems to speak English much better than the other places we've been, which is also odd to me. So here's the door we come in, and immediately there's a hallway. What? Hallway? Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty big... Man, look at that mirror. And then there's the shower and the... What? What? There's a whole bathtub and a shower. Why? Well, deluxe toilet. Everybody has that. Okay, well, it's just a big... Oh, my... This mirror is giant. And there's Q at a desk. And look, there's a huge window of the city. And another huge window of the city. And this lamp and, like, a couch. And a chair. Television. All right, well, I guess that's it. Oh, well, here's the bedroom. Apparently, there's a whole nother room, and there's another television! 2 TVs! Why? And a closet for our clothing, and a third window. A third window. But all of this is less interesting to me than my favorite part, which I just discovered and haven't used yet. This little area between the lamp and the wall is a little hallway. I can't imagine why it was created. And look, we go through, and where do we come out? Bingo! Right back here! Why? Why?
So yeah, this hotel was ridiculous. It was I still can't understand the discrepancy between like the sizes and different towns and stuff. I guess because this was again more of a tourist area as opposed to the downtown in Akihabara and other places where there are business people there. So they were, but still, and then they upgraded us. It was nuts. I know I'm repeating myself, but you don't understand when you're used to staying in little boxes and then you get a room as big as an apartment in America. Plus the view, as you can see, was amazing. But so then, as I said in the preamble, we actually stopped in here first, and then we went out to the mall that I discovered the other day. And that statue is probably from the wrong spot. Okay, so this is actually us heading to the mall, and here's like basically a dollar shop. And we spent some time in there. We did end up eating at the pizza place Shakey's. We did end up getting the dessert, as I mentioned, but we also spent some time shopping. And again, so many awesome little vending machines. I got some of these ultra monsters, but they all came with little snacks and stuff. The reason I'm happy is This Is Bon Jovi, which is the New Jersey national anthem, which is where I'm from. Why it was playing English, I don't know. That was a shoe. That's not the shoe Q ended up buying, but it was a shoe. And there's that character stand again. I tended to take a lot of pictures, just like, look, Gundam something, look at something. This was neat. Latte art. We didn't go in there, but it looked like they were building things out of foam.
Friends find. Look behind. Friends. Stop.
So again, I'm getting a mix up with the timeline, but while there, I went to the manga museum, which is in Kyoto, which was within walking distance of our hotel, maybe like a 15, 20-minute walk. But it was getting close to closing. You can see here there's a big bird phoenix thing. This is the outside. Unfortunately, they didn't let you take pictures or video inside, which was heartbreaking because there was so much awesome stuff to look at. But right here, there was a little cafe. And so on my way in, even though the museum was closing in like an hour, the cafe was closing in like 10 minutes. So I got a quick cup of coffee, which was delicious, and all the walls were decorated with drawings and illustrations from famous manga and anime artists. You can see Gundam, some of which I recognized, some of which I didn't. A lot of the artists I didn't know. Some of the characters I might have known, but like when it's just a head, sometimes it's hard to tell. Mario, obviously. The one I was most excited about, though, was Monkey Punch, who did Lupin the Third, because I know that property. I'm a fan of Lupin the Third, and I know Monkey Punch, the artist. So I took a bunch of I took a bunch of things. I took a picture of anything that looked cool, but like I said, in all honesty, a lot of this stuff I wasn't sure who did what, but it was just gorgeous. I could see, there's One Punch Man, who at the time I didn't know who he was, but I do now. Yeah, it was just such a fun little cafe, and they had this machine which you like picked what you wanted, bought like a coin or a slip, and then you brought it to the counter and gave it to you. And it made me think of like old-fashioned America when people would buy sandwiches out of machines and stuff. So that was kind of cool too. And yeah, this was really cool. I don't know what that was, but it kind of looked like a Sentinel Iron Man. And yeah, the Monkey Punch drawing should be coming up shortly. I actually took a picture of myself in front of it, and it was not very busy in there. There was only like one person, I guess because it was closing soon. And nobody really looked at me or paid attention, even though I was taking pictures of everything and myself and kind of making a little bit of a spectacle, at least by Japan standards. But there's the Lupin the Third on the bottom corner there, and then I took a closer picture. You can see his signature there, Monkey Punch, which is in katakana, which I guess, yeah, because it's Monkey Punch in English, and so it must have been a name chosen by a Japanese person to sound cool or exotic or whatever, because it's spelled in katakana, which indicates a foreign language. And yes, this is actually in the manga museum. This is the only place you could photograph. It was an installation exhibit for a particular artist whose name escapes me now, but it was a book about sand, and so the whole room was filled with sand. They give you special slippers to put over your shoes so you didn't get them dirty, didn't track it everywhere else. And it had process things of had like kind of reimaginings and printouts in different ways. Oh, there is Yuchi Yokohama. I probably just mispronounced that. But then it had like lettering samples, and it had like nuts and bolts stuff. But then it also, like, you could see just like the cartoon sand pouring from the ceiling. And again, this was outside, which is the only reason I could take a picture of that. And this was by the plants. I guess you have to worry about angry caterpillars stinging you. The only souvenir I got was this Astro Boy coin. They had a lot of cool posters and tapestries and things, wall hangings of like Mazinger Z and other like 70s super robots and properties I'd be interested in, but they were sold out of all of them and they wouldn't sell me the displays, and it was heartbreaking. But I heartily recommend anybody check out the museum if you have a chance, if you're in Kyoto. Even if you're not a big fan of comics, it's just a lot of beautiful art. It's really neat. They have like a library where you can look at anything you want. And they also had something that was really cool, which was like castings of famous artists' hands. Like, when you see this, I see this at bar mitzvahs and stuff where people put their hands in like a cup of guck and they pull it out and then there's like a plaster cast of it. But what was awesome was it was all the way they held their pen or pencil or brush. And it was fascinating to see the different way. I mean, a lot of them were like variations on a theme, but some were just like the craziest grips you'd ever seen. And as an artist, I found it interesting, but I think most people would find that interesting. And like I said, the whole museum is great. And the fact that you can't take pictures, it's not like you could watch a tour. Even now you're watching this is like the YouTube tour that you would have had, but I can't give it to you. So it's definitely something you have to go do for yourself, and allow yourself more than the hour that I gave myself, because I was definitely very rushed. So on the way back, I stopped at 7-Eleven. Now, 7-Eleven is awesome there, and as I said, it's sort of a very multi-purpose thing. And what I needed to do, aside, I think I might have got a soda, but aside from that, is I needed to get tickets printed out. I had bought tickets to an Ultraman stunt show extravaganza thing through a reseller in America. Cost a bunch of extra money that it shouldn't have, but you then needed to take that code and get it printed out at 7-Eleven, which is what I did, which is just such a weird thing. It's almost like a Ticketmaster there. This was a Pokemon 3DS thing they had going on. Now, I had my 3DS with me with Pokemon, but I could not get this to function. I don't know if it was a region lock thing or whatever, but I was really excited to make it work and get some Japanese exclusive Pokemon, but no, alas.
Just got out of the manga museum. It's day 8, still in Kyoto. and I'm walking home. It's starting to get a little dark. For one thing, the 7-Elevens here are awesome. They are also sort of some kind of bank or stock exchange, but the regular 7-Elevens have all kinds of like real food, and they still sell comics. Granted, they're manga, they're Japanese comics, but that's better than their American counterparts. The reason I'm making this right now, though, is as I'm walking home, they allow bikes on the sidewalk here, which I think is great because I hate riding in the street. Sidewalks are nice and big. There's an area for bikes. Nobody's having a problem with it. And as it's getting dark, the bikes are using their lights. And the lights are down low, kind of on the fork of the front tire, which makes great sense because it'll light the road easier and better, and it won't blind people as they're coming into it. So once again, Japan, scoring big. This is my Coke Zero that's slightly smaller than a regular Coke Zero in America. Although I guess this is a regular Coke Zero here, and ours are slightly bigger than a regular one.
And now we're back into wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey continuity, because in my mind, I had gone to the museum, and that was the end of the day, but I guess I went back to the hotel, which is, here I am taking pictures in front of hotel things, some sort of flat stained glass, which was cool. And here's the outside again. And then we went back to the mall again, and we went to Shakey's Pizza, which is here. It's sort of an all-you-can-eat pizza buffet. Our friend Topher had mentioned it, that he went to school there for a little while, and he ate there a lot. It wasn't super cheap, but I definitely get my money's worth at any all-you-can-eat buffet. But you can see the crazy pizzas with corn, and if you like meat, they had even more. I happen to be a vegetarian, so my options were limited. But limited options still means like 17 different types of crazy pizza. And then we went back to that arcade place, which was next to a movie theater. They had Minions in Japanese. Here's the dessert we had that I showed you the other day, but it's a better picture of it. They have crazy shirts, like I have friends that buy that kind of stuff to wear, but it's not really my style, but it's still fun to look at. But so now, okay, we went back to what I thought was just slot machines and gambling, but it actually had real video games too. And a lot of these things were themed. You can see Evangelion, pachinko machines and slot machines. I keep saying slot machines. There's a Left 4 Dead that was like a typing game with a mouse and stuff, and they had the card games. This was in the bathroom, and Game Panic, that's the name of the place. And here you can see another Evangelion. That is a slot machine, but gambling, I mentioned this before, is not really legal, and this isn't gambling. It's like you get tokens, which you could then get certain things for, but if you go through certain back alley channels, you could turn that into money somehow. The main thing I played there was this Gundam card game, and Q was playing a Dragon Ball Z one, but I made the mistake of getting what I thought were tokens to play, but I got like the gambling coins for like a 20, the equivalent of a 20, and I realized, oh, this is not what I wanted. I can't use this to play the games, and I tried to, in my broken Japanese and they're a little bit of English, explain like, oh, I didn't want this. Can I get money back and whatever? And they're like, oh, no. And they were super apologetic. And again, great customer service. They were like, no, I'm sorry. You have basically explained you have to use this on the pseudo gambling games, which in America would be the equivalent of ticket games, where you then trade it in for like little fuzzy balls or whatever. There was sort of that aspect to it. But again, I think there's this sort of unspoken, more sinister reason. I don't know. The whole thing was a little hard to understand as a foreigner. But they basically, I think they got that I'm a dumb foreigner that wanted to play video games that accidentally bought gambling coins. But they legally could not refund my money because they're not allowed to give you money for those coins and blah, blah, blah. So they sort of apologized, showed what machines to use. I gave Q the money to use on those machines. And then since they saw that I kept playing the Gundam game, they kept bringing me cards, like reward cards from tournaments and other rare cards. And just like, every 15, 20 minutes I was playing, they'd come by and give me another one, which was awesome. Now, it's possible they just do that if you play it long enough, like when you're in, Las Vegas and they give you drinks. But I took it more as a customer service, like, we can't give you your money back, but here's some free cards. But then again, it was fun. And I didn't mind losing a little bit of money, especially because I got a bunch of free cards. Now in America, the cards are completely useless except as collectibles, but still, it was a really fun night. I forgot to mention, at 7-Eleven, I picked up this Shin Ultraman comic that was $2 for hundreds of pages, which is great. And they clearly promote manga as, I'll say art form, but as a cultural consumable. Whatever. I liked it. It was good. And to be clear, it was an anthology with other stories and characters as well. These are some free mini posters we got of various movies in Japanese, some Japanese movies, some, Western movies in Japan. But it was cool that you could just have these little flyers. I see people selling them in Japanese stores here in America for $1 or $2 each, but they just give them away there, which is cool. And here we are fading into some purchases. There is, oh man, it's an Ultra Kaiju. I can't remember the name, but I got him at a Gashpon machine. And that is a soundtrack to Ultraman Ginga Strium, which was the current Sentai, which is now like, not Sentai, Ultraman series, which is now a year old. But it was exactly what I wanted because it had every theme song from every Ultraman there had ever been. And really, I was looking for the first one or two, but that was just pay dirt. It was great. And that was, when I got that, that was another chance to practice my Japanese using words like music. So we were heading out of the hotel, and again, I don't remember if it was the same night or the next morning at some point, and I got this breakfast. The apple pies from McDonald's in Japan are fantastic, better than America. I don't know why. Here they are again. This was my breakfast. It was just delicious. Q decided to take a nice little nap, which is smart, and I should have done. Here's some more vending machines, the kind of stuff you see at various train stations and pretty much anywhere you go. And we were traveling to this hotel, which was to be our base of operations for Anime Japan 2015, which is what we were doing the next day. There's that peanut butter sandwich I love. I got a lot those Choco Blacks. Those were like chocolate covered potato chips, and they were pretty damn good. This was me doing research to where the nearest Godzilla statue was and to where a good toy store was. There's a lot of Godzilla statues in Japan. Unfortunately, I only got to see one, and it was one of the smaller ones, but it's fairly famous. And again, these are just cool signs. You can see she was doing the Ultraman swatch symbol, like the arms together, well, the specium ray, whatever. And this is just more pictures of us traveling. We had to get on the train. We were going to Ginza, which was near where we were staying at that time. And we didn't have a real plan that day. It was sort of like, let's get ready for tomorrow was the plan. So did a little bit on-the-spot research. Showadori. Dori is street in Japanese. And you see Ginza. And it was sort of like, I'm pretty sure it's near here. And we found it because there's this big Sailor Moon display out front. And this is sort of a famous Japanese toy store, the name of which is escaping me. Anime Robot. It'll come up while we're watching this video, I'm sure. I bought one of these Ultraman masks. They're like kid masks, but I didn't care. It's kind of like the old-fashioned Halloween costumes we used to have here. This store is fantastic. I say that a lot, but the stores just were so fantastic. And I kept taking pictures of posters and toys. They had banks of gachapon machines of all different kinds. Hot Wheels displays, or actually, I don't know if those are brand name Hot Wheels, but die-cast cars. This little Mega Man machine that had all the different Mega Men, and I actually got Classic, which is what I was going for, so I was happy about that. And this fellow, who I guess is supposed to be a rollover dog, but in that box it was kind of creepy. Then they all started barking at me. It was terrifying. This was one of my favorite things. It was several stories tall, as a lot of the stores are, and it was this mirrored spiral staircase that had a bunch of the Ultra Heroes. I don't think it had every single one, but it had all the major ones anyway. The first 6, and then the later ones. Here's me posing with a few of them. There's, I think, Tiga and Dinah and Victory. And I would love this to like have a mansion one day and have this be my staircase with all the different Ultra Heroes at each level. It was kind of impossible to get a shot of all of them, and I was tempted to steal some. I mean, I wouldn't really, but I wanted to bring them home. Took a picture of Ginga, who is the second most recent, but I prefer him to Victory, which is the newest. There's Victory. Not that there's anything wrong with Victory. Not that most of you care. But yeah, I probably took way too many pictures of what essentially is a staircase with posters. And then toys, crazy toys. Oh, they had a little statue of Ultraman that was signed by a bunch of people. I'm assuming actors that worked on the show. They had so many vinyl. They had Kamen Rider and everything else. They had this awesome Transformers display right here, which had an Optimus Prime head. Again, I wanted to steal that. I wanted to steal a lot of things. I wanted to buy things I could buy and steal things I couldn't. For some reason, in Japan, I did a lot of saluting. I don't do that normally, but like a lot of things. There's that flying Ultraman, which is pretty cool. Oh, and check this out. There's a towel on the rack here. This is all the current Ultraman stuff. Let's cut back to Gaz in America.
Just want to pause right there to talk to you fine folks from my bathroom back here in America in the future or in the present, however you want to look at it. Why am I stopping? Why am I in the bathroom? One of the things that we picked up that you can see it in one of the photos that we just passed was an Ultraman towel. And it's funny because Q was the one that's like, let's get this towel. You like Ultraman. She likes Ultraman too, but it's, I love Ultraman. And I'm like, what are we going to do with the towel? It's not big enough to like be a real towel, like a beach towel. It's like a kid's towel. And I'm like, it's cool, but what are we going to hang it like a poster? And I don't know. But she convinced me to get it, and I did, and I'm really glad. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was like $10. But it's one of my favorite things that we got. You can see here we're actually using it as a hand towel, which never even occurred to me. And when I get tired of looking at Victory, I flip it over on the other side, and it's got Ginga. And it's also, because it was an anniversary series, it has a bunch of the other Ultra Heroes, the original ones, on it. And it's fun because guests can see it and enjoy it, even if they're not into that sort of thing. As functional, I see it almost every day. I haven't used another hand towel since. I just wash it every now and then and keep using it. Also, a lot of the toys and other things that we acquired could technically be acquired here in the United States through the internet and various resellers. It might cost more, it might take longer, things like that, but certain things just don't make it over here because who wants a kid's towel of the current Ultraman season? Mostly nobody. Me, and I'm very happy I got it, but that's kind of my point, is that some of the most fun things that I acquired weren't the big collectible things, but just little like things that you would have if you lived there, and not really worth exporting out. And it makes me sad to think that one day this is going to wear out.
And back to Japan, and more vinyls or sofubis. There's 6-inch, there's 5-inch, there's spark dolls, there's regular dolls. Here's more, like there's kids' underwear, which, well, I should have bought that. I could have made a hat out of it. But as you can see, this is kind of what I was talking about, like coloring books and things like that. These vinyls are awesome, and I love this just wall of them that you see everywhere that you never see in America, or if you do, they're crazy expensive. And this store I kind of enjoyed more than the Toys R Us even, because Toys R Us had a lot of American stuff, but this store was mostly just Japanese properties. And they had everything from like little kitty toys all the way up to like adult master grade model Gundams and $100, statues and things like that. And they had a racing area. I forgot about that, where like literally, oh, buy these slot cars and then race. And here you can see the more collectible stuff under glass. And this was a Doraemon like transformer, like Gestalt, like all the different cutie robots combined to be a big one. Gundam everywhere. I'm not a big Gundam guy. I mean, I like it in that it's cool robots, but I don't follow the mythology. I don't build the models, but I appreciated that it was everywhere. And there's Hatsune Miku, and this was a weird Lupin. I do like Lupin, but this looks like some sort of artist interpretation. And there's some Evangelion and some Street Fighter. I mean, you name it, they probably had it at this store. And if not, they had it at the store next door. There's some Scouters for Dragon Ball. I don't know what they call them in Japan. These were kind of cool headsets, but they seem cheaply made, at least from my standards. Like I always break headsets, so while I was tempted to get some cool ones with Japanese designs, I know I just break them. These were toothbrush people, like Star Wars toothbrush heads. They were kid size. I was tempted to buy them. I didn't. And then this is us leaving there and heading over towards the Godzilla statue area. And again, this is the Godzilla in Ginza. There's one near Toho Studios. Then there's a newer one for the legendary Godzilla. And then there's a slide one. The slide one is one I really wanted to go to. But, oh, there it is. Gojira. And it's maybe 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall, but it's on a pedestal. There you go. You can see that makes it so it's about the same height as a human. But really good detail. You can see I was taking pictures of kind of the skin. Some of these pictures are a little blurry. And this is based on one of the older Godzillas. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be the 54, which is the first one. Probably not. It's a little bit too chunky. Maybe it's not supposed to be any particular one, but it does a good job of representing just the icon of what Godzilla is. And while I am bummed I didn't get to see the other ones, I was glad I at least got to see this one. And there was also sort of a Hollywood Walk of Fame thing with handprints, but it was a raised handprint instead of an indented one and no feet. And they all had signatures. I'm assuming these are actors and creators and writers that worked on Godzilla films, although I'm not sure, and I don't know the creators well enough. I know the name of like 2 suit actors, and that's pretty much it. But we spent a little bit of time there taking pictures and having fun. And people enjoyed laughing at me as I took my pictures with Godzilla. And here I am turning into Ultraman, getting ready to fight Godzilla. And then Godzilla turns into Ultraman and fights himself. And the day is saved by Gazbot and Godzilla.
put in there.
That's what this is.
Oh.
I think it's not on though.
So right around this area, we decided to get some food. We went to like a little noodle shop, and again, this was a very, I mean, it was touristy in the sense that it was in a city, but it was all Japanese people. I got this weird pizza because, again, being a vegetarian, I don't have a lot of options. It was all right. It kept me from being starving. Q enjoyed her noodles more than I enjoyed my pizza, but it was a fun little place, more for the atmosphere than anything else. Q decided to have an Ultraman head, which I appreciated. Crabs are in this elevator. They will pinch your fingers. There's a lot of watch out for your fingers signs that are, different little cute cartoons, but I don't know. I feel like it might be confusing if you're a child. This is a different store, actually. This was another electronics store that we saw on the way back. And again, if you're looking for toys, go to an electronics store. On floor 3, it'll be toys. Floor 5, it'll be luggage. It's crazy, And again, they had the higher end $30 SH Figure Arts figures, but then they had, more traditional, like kid-centric toys. Although in Japan, it seems even the kid-centric toys are a little bit more expensive than they are here in America. But the quality on average is better as well. So, you get what you pay for, I guess, everywhere in the world, in America as in Japan. And now,
hey, this is Gazbot in America once again. Something I had planned to do with this series, but I never quite did.
The toys that I don't want to buy,
and it's weird, I hurt myself with this. I had a box of
souvenirs,
souvenirs, a lot of toys and things like that.
It was just such a
that
joy
I wasn't going through. And as I did each day of the video, at the end, it was like, here are the things I bought that day. And then I would open them up, put them on my shelf, play with them. And I did that to a certain extent, but the idea was at the end of the video that I would show you guys what it was I exactly got and why I may have wanted it. And I kind of never really did that. Like, I would sort of show the photo, but that's what I got today. And as a result, I have a box of stuff now, a year later, that I'm just going through as I do these.
And this was a cool little city.
But today I'm actually going to show you what I got. This is the Ultraman manga, the big fat one that I got. And you see it says 200 yen, which is just under $2. Look how thick that is. That's like 2 inches. And it's not ads. I mean, there's a few ads in it, but it's all comics. It's not all Ultraman, but also it has color in some of it. I mean, it's mostly black and white. But if you look at the back here, there's like a poster of King Joe and a girl and color. And there's a few other inserts like that. So again, this is awesome. If I lived in Japan, I'd have a problem because my bookshelf would be filled with these and I'd run out of room very quickly. Okay, the other thing, this is the Kamen Rider Drive car that you saw in the video.
It was a Gazbot machine
and
these little cars.
You see, it's just a cheesy little car, but you flip it and you stick it in and it's a Sentai thing. Eventually, I'm probably going to break down and buy the belt, which I don't want to because I don't really collect Kamen Rider stuff, but it's just so awesome. The electronics in it. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. And also, it came with this little black PVC Kamen Rider guy. This is the Mega Man keychain. This is the CD that I mentioned, the Ultraman. It's Gingastrium, which is, as of 2016, the second newest, but it has all the theme songs, at least the main theme songs from all the Ultraman different series, which is pretty awesome. And now I've cheated this. Looks like it's sealed, but it's in a little slipcase. And I actually have this already imported into my iPhone. So this was the Gashpan Ultra Kaiju. Let me assemble it real quick. It was 3 pieces, took 2 seconds to assemble. He's got this cool back. I don't think he was from the original Ultraman. I'm not sure which series he's from. I don't recognize him, but he's a cool little guy. And he has an apple in his hand because the conceit of this series was they were all having some sort of food. I don't know if there's a reason beyond. Why not? But anyway, he's going up on my shelf right there. Here's all the Gundam cards I collected the whole time I was there. This was sort of the card that you bought to be able to play the game. You insert into the machine. And then these were the play cards that you would use these, and there were pilots and mechs, and it would affect the game. But then here's an example of one that
there's the Ultraman towel and the mask.
Actually, they gave. I don't even know if they gave it to me, but it's like crazy sparkle, 6,000 points. I don't know. These could be worth $1 million or a penny each. I have no idea. I don't plan on selling them. Oh, you can get a couple Kamen Riders in there. I forgot to play the Kamen Rider game. Especially about not being a fan of Kamen Rider. Here's Black, which was Masked Rider in the US back in the 90s. More Spark dolls. This is Ultraman Dark, which is basically just the evil version of the original Ultraman. This is Valky, who was one of the main bad guys. You sort of like the henchman bad guy in Ginga. And then this is This was Gene Killer, which then became Gene 9, which is a giant robot. Cool. They're 5 inches tall, which is a little bit shorter than normal 6-inch vinyl. Getting very toy heavy here, which is why I put it at the end. And they have a little mark on their foot. If they have a mark on their foot, that means you can activate them with the Ginga Spark. Not all of them, though. This is the first one that came out with later ones. The later dolls work only with the later ones. I'm not sure when these came out. I'm going to give it a try. I got this in Japan for $5. It'd be like a $25 thing here, so I'm happy about that. So let's see. John 9, it worked. All right. And then press it again. And that's the noise, theoretically, that goes with the character. All right, let's try Valky. Come on, Valky. Nothing. Let's try Ultraman Dark. So in conclusion, it looks like John 9 is the only one that works with this version of the Ginga Spark. I don't know if it has to do with the numbering system or what, but I got these for very cheap. You can see here, this is $3.62, which again, roughly translates to $3.62, but the dollar was a little bit stronger than yen, so this was like a hair over $3. I should have got as many of these as I could. I regret it. I mean, I could get them for like $10 here, which isn't crazy expensive, but if I could have got them for $3 a piece, I should have just got them all. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. This one was a little more expensive. This was $5.40, so it was probably around $5, which again is still half price in America. This one also was $5. But that makes sense because these were the newer ones. This is the older one. But ironically, the older ones are the ones I like because they work. But I don't know. Again, this is a little bit too toy heavy. You can watch my toy shots for more of this kind of talk. I'm going to throw it back to goodbye, guys. Okay, so we took that little side trip to Ginza, which ended up being a lot of fun, and then we went back to our hotel, which will lead into the next day, which is day 10. And day 10, I have quite a bit of footage for, both video and pictures, because we went to the anime festival. I'm getting that name wrong. Anime Fest? Manga Fest? Anime. It's an anime festival. Anyway, see you next time. So we end our trip back in Akihabara. Wait, where were we? I don't know.